Hey everybody, it's Teresa. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to make a bracelet today, and I'm going to use some of the beads that I got in the most recent GGC's treasure bag that I received. She put out two different bags again this time, like she's been doing the last several times. One was called Sunrise and the other one was called Sunset, and I got the one called Sunset. I forgot to look before I started the video, but I'm certain that both of these bags are sold out by now because they always sell out really quickly. This is not a subscription that you can sign up for. She just puts these bags out once every other month or so, and there's only a limited number of them, and they just, like I said, sell out really quickly because they are so full of such beautiful beads and findings, and it's just a tremendous value. It's unbelievable how many beads and findings you get in one of these bags. I'll put a link in the description box below to the video I did where I opened the bag and went over everything that came in it if you want to watch it. Since it's not a subscription that you can sign up for, if you want to get one in the future, the best way to do that would be to go to her website and get on her email notification list. And that way, when she's about to release her next bag or bags, she'll send you an email and let you know she's about to release it, and that way you can be ready and hopefully get yourself one if you want one. I'll put a link to her website in the description box below too, so you can do that if that's something that you're interested in. I'm going to be using the 4x3mm rainbow peach puff rondelle beads that came in the bag, and I'm going to be using the 6mm round golden champagne glass pearls that came in the bag. I don't know that this is exactly how many of any of these beads that I'm going to need. I just put some in here. I've not done this yet, so I don't know how many I'm going to need. I'm using some 11-0, 8-0, and 15-0 seed beads, Miyuki seed beads. These are all Durcoat galvanized gold, and these are from my stash. I've got one of the toggle clasps that came in the bag. I've got a couple of wire guardians from my stash and some 4mm jump rings. I've got several jump rings in there because I'll probably put a few at the side that has the bar on it so that it'll be easy to get through the loop part of the clasp. I'm going to be using a size 12 beading needle, and I'm going to be using my 8-pound fire line in crystal. You can use 6-pound if you want to. You just might have to go around the 6mm beads a few more times than I'm going to get the beads nice and tight together. I just like to use the 8-pound when I'm using beads as big as 6mm because it's just, I can keep the beads together tighter and not showing thread easier. I am using 15-0s, but I'm not going to be going through them a lot of times, so I think 8-pound will be fine. And like I said, it's in the color crystal, and a size 12 beading needle. And then other than that, I'll just be using my pliers to put my findings on at the end, and my scissors and thread burner to cut and burn down my fire line. I think that's everything. I'll put links to everything I can find, links for everything that didn't come in the bag in the description box below. So hold on and I'll get some of this out of the way and I'll be back. Okay, I've got some of all of my beads out here. These are my 8-0s, and these are my 11-0s, and these are my 15-0s. And I hope it's not going to be confusing since I'm using all the same color seed beads. I usually try to switch them up to make it easier to see what I'm doing, but I just couldn't figure out any other color I wanted to put with these beads other than gold. I might have tried some pink 15-0s if I had had them, because these little rondelles have some pink in them, like some peach and pink in them. But I don't, really the only colors of 15-0s I have are like the metal colors, like silver and gold and like that kind of thing. Gunmetal, I don't really have any colors of 15-0s very much, and I need to stock up on my 15-0s. But I've got my needle threaded with a stop bead, and I'm just leaving about a 6-inch tail, just enough to put a needle on and sew it in later, because I'm going to put my wire guardian on right away. I like to do that if I can, if I'm not going to be coming back down the bracelet, and I'm going to be embellishing it as I go. So I'm going to pick up two 11-0s, one 8-0, two 11-0s, one 8-0, two 11-0s, one 8-0, two 11-0s, and one 8-0. So that's what I've got. Let me zoom in here so you can see better. I've got 2 11-0s and 8-0, 2 11-0s and 8-0, 2 11-0s and 8-0, 2 11-0s and an 8-0. So I'm going to go up through these first 2 11-0s. Now I'm going to skip that 8-0. I'm not going to go through it, and I'm going to go through the next 2 11-0s. And I'm going to make sure that my thread lands in under that 8-0 so that it'll pop out like that. I'm going to do that all the way around. I'm going to skip this 8-0, go into the next 2 11-0s, make my 8-0 pop up and over my thread. Pull my thread tight so it'll pop out there. Now I'm going to skip the next 8-0 and go into the next 2 11-0s. Pop my 8-0 over the thread. I'm going to move my stop bead out of the way here. I'm going to miss that next 8-0 and go into the next 2 11-0s. Make my 8-0 pop over the thread. Okay. Now I'm going to go into this 8-0. And I'm going to sew around until I'm coming out of this 8-0 up here where my tail thread is, because that's where I'm going to put my wire guardian on. And I'm going to go ahead and sew through the 8-0s this time. I think before I put this wire guardian on, I'll put my little rondelle in here that I'm going to put in here. So I'm going to pick up a 15-0, my rondelle, and a 15-0. I'm coming out of this side of this 8-0. I'm going to go on the opposite side of the opposite 8-0. And I'm going to make sure my rondelle falls over top of this little unit that I've made here. And now I'm going to go back through the 15-0, the rondelle, and the 15-0. And then I'm going to go into the other side of the 8-0 that opposite the one I started in there. Pull that all up tight. That gets that little rondelle in there. Now I'm just going to sew this wire guardian directly on here without any seed beads. I'm going to go up one channel of the wire guardian. Go down the other channel of the wire guardian. I hold my finger over the wire guardian so the thread will land in the channel. I started coming out of this side of this 8/0. I'm going to go on the other side of it. And now I'm going to go around all that again. I'm going to go back up my wire guardian. Down the other channel of the wire guardian. Hold my finger over the wire guardian. I'm going to go back into the 8/0. Now I'm going to sew around all that again one more time, and then I'm going to sew down here to this 8/0 opposite my wire guardian to start my bracelet. And while I'm gone, I'm going to go ahead and sew this tail thread in to get out of my way. And when I get all that done, I'll be back. Okay, I've got my wire guardian on now, and I've sewed down here till I'm coming out of this 8/0 opposite my wire guardian. So now I'm going to pick up one of my 6mm beads, an 8/0, a 6mm bead, an 8/0, 6mm bead, 8/0, and a 6mm bead. So I have 4 6mm beads with 8/0s between them. I'm coming out the top of that 8/0. I'm going to go on the bottom of it. Now I'm going to sew around all these beads again. Try to keep my thread pulled tight as I go so that I don't have any gaps or show any thread. Okay. Now I'm going to go into this first 6mm bead, and just the 6mm bead. Pull everything tight. And now I'm going to pick up 9 15/0s. Coming out of this side of this 6mm, I'm going to go back here and go back in the other side of it and just circle around the 6mm bead with my 15/0s. Like that. Now I'm going to go into the next 8/0 and the next 6mm bead. I'm going to pick up 9 more 15/0s. I'm coming out this side of the 6mm bead. I'm going to go back around here and go on the other side of it, circle around that 6mm bead. Now I'm going to go into the next 8/0 and the next 6mm bead. And I'm going to pick up 9 more 15/0s. Sure I got 9 that time, I'm not sure. 6, 8, 9, yeah. I'm coming out this side of the 6mm bead. I'm going to go around it, go back on the other side and circle around it. Now I'm going to go into this 8/0 and this 6mm bead. Now I'm going to pick up 9 more 15-0s and go around this bead. I'm not going to make y'all wait while I count out 9 more 15-0s, but I'm going to do that, and when I come back I'll proceed with the rest of it. So hold on, I'll be back. Okay, I've circled back around my last pearl here with my 9 15-0s, and I'm coming out of this 6mm where I went back around it. So now I'm going to go into this 8-0 between the 6mm beads and into that 6mm bead and into the 8-0 on the other side of it. Just kind of pulls all the 15-0s tight there. Now I'm going to go up 3 of these 15-0s. I need to turn my piece over here where I'm working on the top of it. This is the top because that's where I put my little rondelle. Now I'm going to go back here to this loop of beads, and I'm going to go down 3 15-0s going down toward that 8-0. Pull those together like that. Now I'm going to go back into this 8-0, into the next 6mm bead, and into the 8-0 on the other side of the 6mm bead. Pull that tight. Now I'm going to go up 3 of these 15-0s in this next loop. And then I'm going to come over here and go down these 3 15-0s in my previous loop. And I'm going to pull that tight. And I'm going to go back into this 8-0 into the next 6mm bead. Into the next 8-0. The next 8-0. Now I'm going to go up, I'll push my loop over the top here, and I'm going to go up 3 of these 15-0s. And then I'm going to go back here to my previous loop and go down 3 15-0s. Now I'm going to go back into this 8-0, back into the next 6mm bead, into the 8-0 between my 6mm beads here. Now I just have one more. I'm going to connect these 2 loops here like I have these all around. So I'm going to go down the 3 15-0s, trying to just get through 3 of them. My needle's wanting to go through 4. Now I'm going to go back to this previous loop and go up 3. And then I'm going to go back into my 8-0, back into that next 6mm bead. pull everything tight. And that's what I've got for my little embellishment. Now I'm going to sew down here to this 8/0 opposite my wire guardian so I can do my next unit. I'm going to go into this 8/0, this 6mm bead. I get a knot in my thread. I'm going to go into this 8/0 here. So that's what I've got so far. And I'm not sure how well you were able to see what I was doing, so I'll do another one of those before I stop and do it all off camera. So now I'm going to make another little unit like this one here. But first I'm going to have to stop a minute and turn my heater on and get a little blast of heat because I'm freezing, so hold on, I'll be back. I know it's crazy that I'm freezing for it to be as hot as it is outside, but I've got something going on with me. I just can't seem to get warm. I don't know what it is. I think it's probably a thyroid thing or something. The next time the doctor does blood work, he's going to check my thyroid. So I'm going to pick up 2 11/0s, 1 8/0, 2 11/0s, 1 8/0, 2 11/0s, 1 8/0, and 2 11/0s. So I've got the same thing I had up here, except I'm sharing this 8/0, so I'd only have 3 8/0s with 2 11/0s between each 8/0. So I'm coming out the bottom of this 8/0. I'm going to go into the top of it. Now I'm going to go up these first 2 11/0s. I'm going to skip that 8/0 and go into the next 2 11/0s. Make my 8/0 go up over the thread. Skip the next 8/0 and go into the next 2 11/0s. Make my 8/0 come up over the thread. Skip the next 8/0 and go into the next 2 11/0s. Make my 11/0 come up over top of the thread. Like that. Now I'm just going to go into this 8/0 because it's connected to my previous unit, so it's already popped up. Now I'm going to pick up a 15/0, one of my little rondelle beads, and a 15/0. Coming out this side of this 8/0, I'm going to go on the opposite side of the opposite 8/0. Make sure I'm putting my rondelle on the top of my bracelet. Now I'm going to go back into this 15/0, rondelle, 15/0. Hold my finger over it so it won't come loose. Make sure my thread lands over my bead, not behind it there. Now, I started coming out of this side of my 8/0. I'm going to go in the other side of it. Pull that down tight. And now I'm going to sew around until I'm coming out of this 8/0 here at the tip so I can make my next unit. I'm going to go into these 2 11/0s in the 8/0. I'm going to sew through the 8/0s this time. these two 11/0s and the 8/0 at the tip here. So that's what I've got now. So now I'm going to pick up a 6mm bead, an 8/0, 6mm bead, an 8/0, 6mm bead, well, okay, we'll try another 6mm bead. I know that's got a hole in it, but I'll fool with him later. Another 8/0 and another 6mm bead. Well, these beads are trying to make me look bad today. Here we go. I've got 4 6mm beads with 8/0s between all of them. So I started coming out this side of the 8/0. I'm going to go on the other side of it. Now I'm going to go around all those beads again. I'm going to go back into that 8/0 that I started in. Pull everything tight. I'm going to go into this first 6mm bead. Now I'm going to pick up 9 15/0s. Coming out this side of the 6mm bead, I'm going to go back here and circle around it. I'm going to go into the next 8/0 and the next 6mm bead. Pick up 9 more 15/0s. Coming out of this side of this 6mm bead, I'm going to go around into the other side of it, circle around it. I have a knot in my thread. And I believe I'm going to have to take a minute to get this knot out, so hold on, I'll be back. Okay, I got my knot out. I thought I was going to have to unthread my needle and get it, take it out that way, but I got it out. Played around with it with my needle and got it out. So I'm coming out of my 6mm bead here where I put that last round of 15/0s on now. So I'm gonna go through the 8/0 and the next 6mm bead. Pick up 9 more 15/0s. I'm coming out of this side of this 6mm. I'm going to go back into the other side of it. Go into the next 8/0 and the next 6mm. Pick up 9 more 15/0s. Coming out this side of the 6mm, I'm going to go on the other side of it. And if that's another knot, I'm going to have to stop and get out. I'm going to be mad. It's another knot. I don't know. It might, yeah, okay, that one came out easy. So I'm coming out of the 6mm there where I made that last circle of 15/0. Now I'm going to go into the next 8/0, the 6mm, and the next 8/0 to kind of tighten my 15/0s up before I start bringing them together here. Now I'm going to turn my piece over to make sure I'm on the front. I'm coming out of the 8/0 on the right side of it there. I'm going to push my little loop forward here, and I'm going to go up 3 of the 15/0s. I'm going to push this loop up, and I'm going to go down 3 of the 15/0s. Now I'm going to go back into the other side of the 8/0 that I started in. Now I'm going to go into the next 6mm bead and the next 8/0. Now I'm going to push this loop up, and I'm going to go up 3 of my 15/0s. And I'm going to go over here to my previous loop and go down 3 15/0s. Now I'm going to go back into the other side of the 8/0 opposite the one I started in. And I'm going to go on into that 6mm bead. Now I'm going to go into the 8/0. I'm going to push this loop up. I'm going to go up 3 of the 15/0s. Not get caught around my whole bracelet here. Now I'm going back to my previous loop and go down 3 15/0s. Now I'm going to go into this side of my 8/0, which is opposite the side I started in. Now I'm going to go into the 6mm bead. Make sure I don't catch on to any of those 15/0s. And now I'm going to go into my 8/0 here. Now I need to connect these two loops because they're not connected. So I'm going to go down my 3 15/0s. Back to my previous loop and go up the 3 15/0s. And then go back into the 8/0. Back into that 6mm bead while I'm at it. So that's what I've got now. So now I'm going to sew down here to the 8/0 at this side here so I can make my next unit. So I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm going to alternate between these units and this little unit here with the rondelle until I get the length that I want. And then I'm going to put my wire guardian on just like I'm going to end with one of these little units with the rondelle and put my wire guardian on just like I did on this side. And then I'll go ahead and put my clasp on. You all don't need to see me do that. You've seen me do that bunches of times. And when I get back, we'll see what I've got. So I'll be back. Okay, there's my bracelet all done. I ended up just putting one jump ring on the bar side because the toggle bar goes through fine with just one jump ring. That little component there at the end goes through the toggle loop, so it didn't need any extra jump rings. So that's what it looks like up close. Those little units are open. Made using some of the beautiful beads in this toggle clasp from the most recent GGC's treasure bag that I received. I think I'm too zoomed in. Let me zoom out a little here now. Like I said, if you think you might want to get one of Gina's bags in the future, it's a good idea to go to her website and get on her email notification list, and that way she'll send you an email when she's about to release her next bag, or probably bags like she's been doing, and you can be ready and hopefully get yourself one if you want one. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed to my channel and watched my videos and liked and commented on my videos. I have a website where I sell my jewelry. It's Teresa's Handmade Jewelry, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below in case you're interested, along with a link to my Facebook, Instagram, and my email. If you haven't, I'd really love it if you'd subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. So until next time, I hope y'all have a great day. Take care.